Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
Good to go on a Monday morning, 8:07 on WMAL. I'm Brian Neiman. He's Brian Wilson. Pleased to be joined now by D.C. Councilmember Michael Brown, at-large D.C. Councilmember. Mr. Brown, how are you? Good morning. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Brian. Good morning to you guys.
Well, we wanted to talk to you about a whole bunch of different things, but let's start off with the mayor, Vincent Gray, who is under a cloud of suspicion, I would say. Several people close to him have been charged with crimes. You have Suleiman Brown and that issue where they were apparently giving money to the campaign so he could stay in and also promised a job while he attacked Adrian Fenty. Now you have the shadow campaign that was going on at the tune of $650,000 under the table. Charges have been filed. The U.S. prosecutor says there's no doubt they tried to change people's minds without doing it the right way. Do you have confidence in Vincent Gray's ability to be the mayor right now? Should he step down, in other words?
No, I don't believe he should. I am one of those folks that likes to see all the facts play out in the due course of time and through the current process. So, no, I don't think he needs to step down. And yes, I do have confidence in him continuing to be mayor. And I'll tell you why. If you look at our city now, we have about 1,100 new residents, frankly, climbing in all over themselves to come and live in our city. Brand new restaurants are opening up almost every day. We have one of the hottest nightlifes anywhere in the country. We have 42 cranes kind of going on around our city, which means jobs, which means economic development. So we're probably one of the more, if not the hottest city in America, maybe one of the hottest cities in the world.
I won't disagree with that.
So things are going right.
But let me ask you this. Do you think it was a fair election?
So I think it's a fair election. Well, I think that's what will happen after we see the facts play out over the next couple months once the investigation is over.
Councilman Brown, with all due respect, I mean, we now know a number of people have already pleaded guilty to certain charges surrounding this election. And we now know that there were huge contributions that were made, and those were illegal and fraudulent contributions. The mayor ran a campaign that lacks legitimacy because it was run improperly. At the very least, how can you say that you believe that it was a fair election?
Well, I don't think anyone can say that it wasn't a fair election yet. Well, I think there are two questions in your question. I think one is where the mayor contends is he says he was not aware of the shadow campaign.
But it doesn't matter whether he was aware or not. It was a fraudulent election.
No, but that was the one issue that was asked earlier was, do I have confidence in the mayor? And the answer is yes. Because nothing has been proven relative to him knowing about the shadow campaign. The second question is, as all the facts continue to play out, I think then we'll be able to give an evaluation of whether it was a legitimate election. As of now, yes, it seems to be it was.
Let me ask you a hypothetical. I know everybody hates hypothetical questions, but imagine you were running for mayor. Can you imagine a scenario where you wouldn't know that $654,000 had been put into your campaign surreptitiously?
Can I imagine a situation?
Could you imagine not knowing that?
You're right. Hypotheticals are hard. Of course, there's a scenario where somebody would not know that. Whether that happened in this case or not, again, we won't know until all the facts play out.
So you don't necessarily believe that it actually happened then, even though people have...
No. I don't think I said that. I think the issue is your question seems to be, is the mayor still able to be mayor? And should he step down? My answer is no, he should not, because the facts have not yet played out yet.
Well, yes, I understand him still being able to function as the mayor, but whether or not it was a fair election, it seems clear, at least to us, that it wasn't necessarily a fair election if you had the shadow campaign that people have pleaded guilty to.
And again, as the facts continue to play out, I guess we'll see how things go in the next couple months.
So would it ultimately, for you to say that it wasn't fair or enough for the mayor to step down, is that he would have to know about it? He would have had to know about it this before, during the election, and that would be the tipping point for you?
No, but that's certainly one factor. But again, until all the facts are out, I think it's tough to make an absolute conclusion on anything.
All right, let me ask you this then, because I know you've been a champion for home rule. Do you think these scandals have become a distraction and have hurt the ability for the city government to actually continue on this and maybe even get to statehood at some point?
Not really. I mean, when you look at about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the highest approval ratings of any legislative body in the country. I think we were at 68% or 69%. And Congress was still finding excuses not to give us any kind of autonomy, not to give us any independence. So I don't think it's a distraction. I think it's more just an excuse that that some of the folks on the Hill like to use when they don't want to move us forward relative to statehood or self-determination. So, no, I don't think it's a distraction, because even when we were rolling along, kicking on all cylinders, they were still finding excuses not to give us anything. So, no, I don't think it's a distraction.
You don't think it's a distraction at all? I mean, because you got a cloud of...
I don't think it's a distraction. It's what I just articulated. I think it's an excuse. There's always an excuse. When we were at 68% approval rating, the city was functioning fabulously, as it still continues to. Folks were putting gun riders on things relative to our independence. So, no, I don't think it's a distraction. It's just another excuse that they use not to give us what we want.
I would suggest to you gently that when you have a mayor who's got under a cloud of controversy, when you have a scandals that surrounds the chairman of the council, when you have the Suleiman Brown thing, when you have the former mayor for life, Marion Barry, making outrageous comments at every turn, that doesn't do much for the reputation of the city in the eyes of those people on Capitol Hill who might even be in your favor.
I'm not disagreeing with your premise. I'm just suggesting to you that I don't think it matters whether all those things you just mentioned weren't even happening at all. They still are very, very resistant to give us what we want, which is statehood. So until we're able to try to figure out both the political dynamics, the racial dynamics of statehood, I think it's going to be difficult for us to move it forward, but we're going to continue to fight hard for it.
Would you like for the mayor to be more open about what he knows and what he doesn't know? He seems to basically be saying, hey, everything's under investigation and I'm not going to talk, although there's nothing stopping him from being able to talk. He certainly
knows whether he knew or not.
Right. Again, on that part of speculation, I have an extremely amount of respect for the U.S. Attorney's Office and how they're conducting the investigation. And however they're laying this out is something we should respect, and we'll wait to see how the facts play out.
All right. Councilman Brown, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.